Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Been able to do anything like
Oh,
we've had a couple of lockdown hair, like Craig's had a couple of lockdown haircuts done by me. Not good.
lucky him. No, no, I don't think my husband will be cutting my hair.
No, we had one that went really well, and then we've had two accidental head shaves. So
Oh, God.
that's over the last year. So
Oh, well, you haven't done too badly then.
I've got
That's all
one out
right.
of three on my hairdressing record at the moment.
We've found out all these new skills that we've
I
got in
know,
lockdown, haven't
I
we?
know. But
I'm
it's
pleased to see that Craig has some hair. She said you've been shaving your hair off,
it
Craig.
was a while ago
Yeah,
now.
it's grown back a fair bit since the day, like since the day of the event. I'm looking less like a thug now, I think. Yeah.
Oh, oh no,
Yeah,
just
you
saying
know it's
thank
bad
God.
when you've got more hair on your face. Like with Craig's got more hair on his face than on his head because
I
um,
don't have very good beard genetics, so it takes
he
some
hasn't
doing
got
to have
Scott's
more
beard
hair on my
genetics.
face.
Yeah, it took a long time for my genetics to kick in.
We can't all be handsome, well-spoken Northern Irish men with good beards. No, you're not. Are you Northern Irish
I'm
or
Northern Irish, yeah,
all
yeah.
right, yeah, I thought so.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time Craig's upset an Irish person by saying the wrong one.
It's very important, mate. Northern Irish people, very proud people.
Scott, I'm waiting till you bring Richard into something. I need to see his little face.
I know, mate. Yeah, he was on the meetup last night.
I know I didn't realize it was on. I forgot that it was on it. And then when I saw his LinkedIn post, he'd been like, "Join us tonight." So I was like, "Oh, I haven't missed it." And then it was like, it was 4:30 when I seen it, and I was like, "Oh, it's already on."
Yeah, I need to do more LinkedIn posting, apparently.
Don't we
Yeah.
all?
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to meet you, Rita. We've
Nice
never
to meet
met
you,
before.
Scott. Yes, we haven't met before. What sort of business have you got, Scott?
Digital marketing. We do CRO and technical SEO.
Oh,
So, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Right,
we do
yeah.
techie stuff.
Oh, yeah. We need people like you. Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
I've got the glasses to prove it as well. So
Yes, I've got new glasses, but they don't help me with any technical stuff, I can assure you.
oh, you haven't bought the round ones. You need these round ones. That's where it's at.
Is that
Yeah.
where it's at? I've obviously
Yeah.
gone for the wrong shape.
Hey,
Haven't
listen
That's
to
it,
I?
that,
yeah.
Craig. You need to get yourself in the glasses club.
I do. I need some glasses. Yeah.
Oh, they hide a
Unfortunately,
multitude of sins, actually. They're great having
unfortunately,
glasses.
I've got great vision. So
Right. No need to brag.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I definitely need mine now. God. Yeah, never mind.
how are you finding the
That's,
networking, Scott?
What you say?
How are you finding that networking meeting now that you're part of our little group?
The one I'm running.
No, the one that you're in, that you joined Network B2B.
All right, I think I'm going to sack it in probably. It's like, it's a little bit too early in the morning for my liking. It's one of the main drivers. I'm an hour ahead as well, but I like to run and stuff in the morning, and it's really impacting my
Yeah,
schedule.
that's fair. I only go to because Ellen strongly encourages it.
Yeah.
See, I met Rita at networking. I met Kate at networking. And Nicola, who's not coming. Hello, Kate. So none of these proposals
yeah.
of it. And it was 7:30 our old group. And I used to have to go in person at 7:30 before this. So
Yeah.
that was a
I've done
struggle.
networking for 30 years at least, and I used to do it in London when I lived in London, and I just think it's great because you never know who you're going to meet and where it takes you. It's that sort of yeah, and I'm a big advocate.
I think
I
not
think you
all
get a lot of
networking
energy.
groups are created equal as well. Sometimes you'll go to them and you'll be like, this is a bit of a waste of time. And other ones you go to and they're like really, really good. So it's just like testing them
Yeah.
out and finding out where the people are that know your prospective clients and things.
You've got to find your tribe. Find your tribe. Yes.
Find the tribe.
Yeah, no, Ellen's right. You need to stick with the ones that you can really work for you. They're not all good, so find the stuff. I mean, I was on one the other day because I do a lot with the Northeast Process Industry Cluster, which is NEPIC, so that's pharmaceutical, chemical, manufacturing. There were 65 on the call.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's difficult Zoom networking because you can't really speak to anybody in that environment without Did they do breakout rooms?
Yeah, they did do some breakout rooms, thank goodness. So that actually helps. But I must admit, you can get access to some great big, companies in there. So you've got to kind of stick with it. It's one of those things you've just got to work hard at, because that's where it's at, So I think because I've been doing it for over a year, I'm really into it now. Yeah, you need to stick with it.
Well, I don't know where everyone is this week. Lauren said she was coming. Nicola's given her apologies. Not sure where all the other people are. So I'll wait a couple of minutes for Lauren because she says she's definitely coming.
Yeah, Lauren normally comes on, doesn't she?
Yeah, she
Is that Miss Archer or someone else?
Yeah, Lauren Archer is actually a member as well, but I haven't seen her for a couple of months on here. But Lauren McWilliams, photographer, normally does come. I think other Lauren Archer watches the replays, so I've got more members that watch the replays, which is why I need to sort out my technical thing. But I think I've nailed it today. I say that every month, but my problem is that I have to record all the screens and then also your audio and my audio, and really I should just buy Zoom, but I'm just not haven't done that yet. So but we've just done a test with Craig and I could hear all the audio because last month it was only me and it didn't pick up your audio. So it should be working this time. And if you record a Google Meet, it doesn't record the slides. So that's what's just like a bit of a faff. But I'll just wait a couple of minutes for Lauren.
Well, I feel really naughty because all I've done is shares and comments this month. I haven't posted anything. Actually, somebody was asking me on another call earlier on the Federation of Small Business Networking. Do you do that one? Yeah, I was on that one. And they were asking me, did I use LinkedIn? And I said, well, yes, I sort of use it. And I told them about my ABBA post. So they've all been looking at my ABBA post.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that was my sort of pièce de résistance, I think, the only thing that I've managed to do. So I'm definitely going to have to get some inspiration. I'm going to have to do something, yeah. But as you know, Ellen, I was talking about my new branding, so I'm trying to push out with some new branding ideas.
While we're waiting for Lauren, also there's a poll. I don't know how you access it. Can you see how obvious is it? If you go into the hover over the top, it's activities. I've made a poll already. So, launch. Sorry, I haven't launched it. Right now, I've launched it.
Right. And where do we go? All right, we click on that. Oh, yes, poll. Here we are.
So now, if you just answer that question, it should be like a little live poll, so I can see. Okay, and then I'll just remind Lauren when she comes, but she's obviously busy, so I'm going to present my screen. So basically every month we'll just have a casual chat about what has been going on LinkedIn, how to better improve the content that we're putting out there, and just sharing ideas. And sometimes Craig gives us some free content ideas when we're talking about different things and what people are struggling with. So this month we're just going to talk about, I've got some posts from this month from some of the members. I normally just go on everyone's profile and screenshot some stuff that they've done. It's just random. I don't only pick certain people. I'm going to talk mostly about consistency. That's why I've done that poll, because I think it's just the power of posting more regularly. I've lost my internet connection. Can you still see us, Craig? Oh. It says I've lost my internet connection.
Have you been brought in as backup, Craig?
I would say critical. Yeah, I'm just the backup buddy.
Is she still in the house with you, Craig? I mean,
now I've got it working.
She's back.
Everyone froze, but I didn't know if you were just listening really carefully or what.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
You know when everyone just freezes, you're are they just standing really still? Or anyway, yes. So I'm going to talk about posting consistently, and that's why I did the poll, because I wanted to know how people were managing with regards to posting, because I know I talk a lot about post ideas, but really you could post a really good thing once a month, but it's not going to achieve the same as posting above average stuff regularly. That's kind of the frequency is getting to be really important. And then I've got some post ideas at the end. So hopefully this doesn't freeze. Some of your posts, my text is a bit cut off by this stupid, I'm not sure what you can see, but when you watch this back on the webinar, some of the text might be cut off. So I saw Kate had done a nice little post about launching her digital privacy and data privacy and digital skills hub. So she's got a similar setup to what we've got here, but for her niche, which is data privacy and digital skills. And I like that this post, obviously you've tagged someone and you got a few comments and stuff on it as well, and just a bit of positive feedback. I always talk about sharing testimonials. I just shared a testimonial this morning. Oh, there's Lauren. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, it's okay. I was just worrying about you. I was like, is she okay? So yeah, that was one from Kate. And the next one is, oh no, what have I done? See, this is just shocking. The animation's backwards. The next one's from Scott. I really like this video that you did, Scott, which was like, it's worth everybody watching it. It was just like Scott basically screen recorded himself going on the top, I think it was the Top Man website, Top Shop Top Man website, and just showing how it's lacking in digital accessibility. Also, Scott, that on a separate topic, I've got a client who's like a specialist accessibility consultant in real life and in digital. I make an introduction because he's like really into this sort of stuff, and this sort of stuff would have been really useful, interesting to him. He does digital audits.
Me too.
Cool.
Yes, you as well. But yeah,
I had fun making this as well.
What inspired you to do that, Scott? Just top shot.
So I've been using Loom, this program, to like send stuff to clients because it's just quicker and easier than me writing an email, which people might not understand. Mm-hmm. So I just make a video, and I was like, maybe I can do something like this for LinkedIn. And then, I just done this. I was like, it was quite tongue in cheek. I done it last minute. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I think, is that like where you can like record like a video and you screen? Because I sometimes send clients like on a side note, like a walkthrough of how to use, like, you know, how to moderate comments on WordPress and stuff. And I always have to like film it, and then I'll like upload it manually to YouTube unlisted, and then send them the link.
Yeah, so just use Loom. It's free for videos up to 5 minutes long, and you can have 100 videos at a time in your account for free, I believe. So
that's awesome.
That sounds really good, because it's quite often that I'll do little digital walkthroughs.
If you get the Google Chrome extension as well, it gives you a little button in your Gmail to record a video, so you can just click it there while you're replying
really
to someone.
Useful. I think everyone here could benefit from using something like that. So. Yeah, especially when someone's asking, like Kate will know when people ask like, how do you do that, and then it's easy to just show them on a video, but it's not, you don't always want to hop on a Zoom call with them.
Definitely.
So I like that video. I liked a good video. Mark, I don't know where Mark is this month. I haven't heard from him, but I'm sure he's watching this on replay. He did one about the client work that you you lose and stuff, and I really like this because I talk about vulnerability and authenticity this week and this month, because I posted a whole newsletter about getting sacked by a client last week. A client that Kate referred to me. Sorry, Kate.
I know, yes, you did seem normal, but clearly not.
Yeah, clearly not. But anyway, it was them, not us, as I've now been informed. But just I like this little bit of like vulnerability and showing that like not everything, because sometimes social media becomes like a highlights reel, and I think LinkedIn's probably one of the worst platforms for that, where it's like, we've won this new client, we've done this thing, and like every so often it's nice to talk about your failures and stuff, and I actually got a lot of traction on talking about mine. So
I'm going to say that I really related that, because so many people have had that and it's where you didn't get when you don't get a why. Mm-hmm. When people effectively ghost you for whatever reason, and you think, if there's an issue, say.
Yeah, exactly. And like, wouldn't even mind if you pitch to a new client and they say it's not, not right now, or don't have the budget or anything. If they just explain to you what their reason is, it's fine.
It's people have got big shoulders and they can take it, but it's this ignoring, I think, is I'm very, very It's one of my kind of pet things. Whereas even if I just reply with a thumbs up or a yes or a something to let them know that I've seen them and they're alive, and I don't think I'm any more important than they are.
Definitely. I think it's a good point from Mark. And then the last one is from Lauren, which I have to make a bit bigger because I can't see it. But we talked about editing. Do you want to talk about this one, Lauren, since you're here? Because it seems silly for me to explain it.
I can't remember post. 1 second, let me catch up. Honestly, I can't see. I think I need my glasses again.
Oh, about reposting old photos. So there's only so many pictures you can take at your desk with a cup of tea, being working from home, chic.
Yeah, and maybe just thinking back about your images from holidays and stuff. So I did one this morning as well. So it's sharing a story, showing a little bit about who you are, but also just thinking that you've got thousands of images that have probably been in storage or on your cloud or something that you just forget about, but actually it's content waiting there for you to share and have a story with, instead of having a panic about what image should you share today.
Yeah, and I often think those images have got you say a story behind them or a lesson learned. So you'll have pictures from trips that you've funded with your first ever holiday, self-employed, or you've got a picture from just something that could inspire a nice little post. So it's useful for us in the group, as well as being obviously a good post that did pretty well. So,
yes, you've just given me an idea now, Lauren. That's wonderful. That's why I'm in this group. I've just thought of something.
Oh, good. Yep, I'm glad it helped.
No, it has. Well, that's true, because you have all these photos and you don't do anything with them, do you? And actually, I've just thought of something. Right. Okay. Brilliant.
Perfect.
Amazing. Okay. So next, I'm just briefly going to talk about how let's go back to the beginning of the slideshow. External links are okay now, apparently. So I've spent the last year telling everyone how to hack the external link problem, how to put the link in the comments, and then for a bit I was telling you to edit and put the link in afterwards. Now, the LinkedIn expert, John Asperian, who's the best person to go to for any LinkedIn content, he knows exactly what he's talking about. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about on here is, comes from some of the research that he's done and stuff. So, Rita, can you just mute? Oh, it's all right, I'll mute you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I was thinking it was getting a feedback.
Yeah. Is it muted? I'll mute it.
Yeah.
There we are. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So apparently external links are okay now, and I've posted a lot recently because I've posted links to YouTube. Which links to YouTube is shockingly interesting, because they'll use they want you to post the video native within the platform, but actually we're seeing I'm posting some YouTube links and seeing be okay, and then also posting links in Substack and stuff. So I think the lesson learned with that is that it's not just any external link that's okay. It's about how you phrase the summary of the content. So what I should have done was press see more and shown the full bit. But whenever I post an external link, I don't just post I read my latest blog. I try to take a summary from it and I guess clickbait a bit, but obviously not clickbait in a sense that it's not what they're going to get when they click through, but just say, well, if this is what we're talking about today. So the big one was obviously losing a client, or maybe talking about lessons learned and what they are. And I think it would be interesting if before next month, if you guys went away and other people watching the replay can have a go with practicing some links, sharing normal, a couple of links to external sources, and just see, and then we can discuss next month, because I can only go off what I've done and obviously what John says, and John's done an experiment as well, and he said that it seems to be the same. And I know that links, if you're the first person to comment on your own post, in the sense you're putting a link in the comments, that is getting penalised now. So it's not only something that we used to recommend, and then it's actually negatively impacting the performance of your post. So either don't post an external link, or do post it just normal, and then next month we'll talk about how it's gone. Has anybody posted any links this month, to other places, other than outside LinkedIn?
I've done a guest blog, which it didn't do too bad. Doing that just directly in rather than waiting and reposting. Definitely better than it has done before.
I think LinkedIn got sick of people hacking the system, and then it made the user experience quite poor when people were putting links in comments, and then if you share the post, it's not, the post getting lost and stuff. So yeah, I think it's interesting, and we'll just have another go and see. And the views on these posts are pretty good. What, Kate? Sorry.
I put the link to my MailChimp, the link to viewing the browser in there every week, but I've started a summary of like the first paragraph. So, but it's because basically what I'm doing is repurposing content. I mean, to be honest, really for the size of the lists that I have for those 3 mailings, for me, it's more about the LinkedIn content than it is about the mailings, because I have a mailing list which is the Thursday one, but my Tuesday and Friday ones only have about 8 or 9 people on the list at the moment. So it's more about making me do it, because I committed to do it and I want to get mailing out. It makes me do it and then makes me put it on LinkedIn. So it's a kind of sort of weird self-accountability thing.
Yeah, definitely. That's partially what I'm going to talk about later on with regards to posting consistently as well, that whole accountability thing. So I think before Lauren joined, I'm not sure if you saw the poll, or if you can still see it, but I did a little poll. I have no idea how you can see it on your end because it might look different, which is like how frequently people are posting on LinkedIn. So I've done the poll, and it looks like a couple of people are managing 2 to 5 times a week, once a week, and then like we've got just different levels of, obviously some weeks you can post 5 times and then some weeks you don't post at all. I get that as well, so I'm not saying it has to be the same, but the research still stands that 2 to 5 times a week is most, and is the most optimum. And I've read somewhere that it was 20 times a month, which is the equivalent of like every weekday. But I'm not saying you should only post on weekdays, because sometimes you post on a weekend and it does quite well. So the consistency element is really important, because you can post really good content, but if you only LinkedIn has said that the performance of your posts is going to be dictated a little bit by the performance of your past posts as well. So like you're carrying over like the juice from past posts, if you know what I mean. So like if you're starting off from scratch and you've not posted recently, the first couple of posts might not do as well as like when I post 3 times a week or something. So those posts LinkedIn already deems to be good content because it's seen the performance of my past posts, because it considers it kind of decides who's a good content creator based on comments and obviously likes and shares, but mostly comments. So I just want to have a little chat about what do people think, how are they getting on with regards to posting regularly, and what's stopping you from posting regularly, or what do you think is the biggest blocker that we can like work through as a group?
I just struggle to be creative in my day-to-day as a technical person. So yeah, I just struggle to come up with stuff I think is valuable to post. But today, actually, so last night we had the event. So one way around this is I'm trying to make the most of whatever I make. So last night we had the event for Spark. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the long form video, which is like probably 30 minutes long. We're going to put it on YouTube, share it, but then we're going to cut like maybe 3, 4, or 5 like really nice little parts out of it and use it as like micro content to then post to LinkedIn, and then hopefully that's like 4 posts. Which is 1 a week, which is about what I'm doing at the minute. So I'm trying to better figure out what pillar content I want to be creating on a monthly basis, and then how I can make the most out of that by like if I do 1 blog post a month, I can chop like a few bits out of it and like talk about it. But
I think Scott, with your business as well, you've got the opportunity to like do a lot of data driven stories, and people like there's loads of compelling stories you can tell out of good data. I mean, I used to make like the majority of what I used to do for clients was data driven stories. So I think if you've got like anything insightful to draw, even just from like whether it's your clients or if it's just general like data stories about like current issues.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, I saw someone tweeted like literally today, like I know people love the good Google search, like Google Trends increase, but within the last 5 days, like the search for like summer holidays and stuff has like increased massively, and just interesting since government announcements, since announcements that affect all of us or groups of people, what is like the user behavior, what is like the thing that people are then doing, or people looking for. I would be curious to see like what the statistics are around people looking for like wedding like regalia and stuff, because like we're supposed to be getting married this year, but like I haven't done anything. And then in the last 2 days, we've looked at like Craig's looked at suits online, and I bet there's like been a big boost of people looking at like Googling wedding photographers, and so I was asking Lauren for advice on that, and we're holding off on making any plans. So I think it's interesting to see that people
things like holidays as well, like holiday, like TUI reported like a 500% increase in holiday inquiries, so you could maybe like relay that to.
That's a good idea, like exploding topics or something like that there. Yeah, that's a good idea. I really think. Thanks for that one.
That's all right. How are you?
Sorry, Craig.
It's all right. No, I think data is like the best way to tell good stories.
I think I'm probably overthinking things a bit like what Scott was just saying. I try to do it regularly. It's just so difficult because I sort of think, oh, have I got anything valuable to say? And then you kind of think, if I have
a massive thing, isn't it? Is we all think that what we've got to say, nobody will be interested.
Yeah. I know.
Things that I've posted where I've thought, oh, I'll post that because I want to post something, and then people have gone, oh, that's great, and you go, yeah. Because it's that kind of, we just all don't think we're very interested in people, but we're interested to other people, and what we do is interesting to other people, even if we don't realise it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the posts sometimes that you put like little thought into that are just like off the cuff reactions to something that's in the news or a conversation that you had with a client. Sometimes you come off the phone and a client said something to you and you think, then you post about it, and like often those are the ones that perform better than the ones that you sit and plan out as well. Like, just those random sparks of. I've got a slide about it later on how I come up with like ideas based on questions, but I think it's like a matter of experimenting and just doing it frequently. And if some of them don't get comments, then they don't get comments, and that's like a lesson. You learn from that, and then the next one.
So does it matter? I mean, the length of it. I mean, for instance, if I just wanted to do a few sentences, would that look?
That's like optimum length, really. Like, so they're saying that obviously text posts are the best, but I would say, like these kinds of posts that I was sharing earlier, just like that, like Lawrence is obviously on the long. I would say like that's on like the longer side, but it doesn't mean that it's like a bad thing or anything. You can write half of the length of that, and it would be fine. Some of these are just a couple of like lines long. So I think it's just about not putting too much thought into the length and the layout, and because it's looking like consistency and the quality of your past content is so important. So starting from scratch now, you're going to have to build up that level of like, okay, let's just try and get a couple of posts out a week, because if you put loads of, it's kind of it's the balance between like quality and quantity, but quantity is like unfortunately like a big kind of aspect of LinkedIn performance.
I think the other update as well with before you had like the golden hour, so you kind of could guess the success of the post, whereas now like yesterday I posted and it was like tumbleweed, nobody was looking at it. I was like, please somebody just engage. But then today the views and the comments and stuff have gone up, and sometimes it's taken like 2 weeks before that post's done well. So it's hard to know which ones are being successful and then how to judge it for the next post that you're writing through that week.
The only way you can know is by doing it, I guess. That's what.
Yeah, I think I'll just try and put a couple of very short ones out just so I can actually physically get something out there. And I'm just not going to overthink it. Yeah, I just need to get fear. This is the final push, Ellen. I'm going over that hill. Right, look out for it.
I will. We'll all comment on it. We're not a pod. We'll all comment on it.
Okay, all right. Okay. Thank you.
One thing about ideas is that I think it's really good idea. I've talked about this before, but I just want to talk about how I do it. It's like creating an ideas dump. So like somewhere where you're just chucking stuff, whether it's a notebook, and this is just a screenshot from my phone's notes. And these are like ideas that I've been on a dog walk and I've thought, like, don't hoard, I thought, don't be like Smaug's brackets hoarding your knowledge. Like that might not mean anything to anyone, but to me, I'm like, that could be a good post. And the thing is, if I don't write it down, and I always get this just before bed, I'm lying in bed and I think of a great idea and I think I'll definitely remember it, and then I don't. And it's so annoying. I need to put like, and I don't take like my phone to bed, so then I'm not writing it in the notes, but just a little notebook or phone notes, and just like whatever. In most of these you might not ever use, but trying to, if you're not one of those people that's following like a really strict content plan, or you are fitting a strict content plan, but you just need to keep these ideas. Some of these have gone in the newsletter ideas as well, but don't know if anybody else uses a different technique. But this is just really a dumping ground for like things that have come onto they come into my mind when I've not been at the computer at the moment. And the thing is, these ideas, the way the brain works, there's been research into it that like when you're away from a screen and when you're walking or doing something that's like a relatively passive activity in the shower or something, that's when the creativity switches on. And unfortunately, that's often when you haven't got something with you to write down. So you think, oh, I should write about that, and then you don't, because you forget about it. So I don't know if anybody else has got like a dump like this where they're putting ideas, or if not, then it might be a good idea to start one.
The notepad in my phone, because that's only because I'm wedded to my phone. But yeah, it's things like if I'm in the car. So things like if I think of something, then it's kind of like it's trying to retain it, so don't forget. And then so I've used voice notes in the past.
Yeah, I've had that in the car where I've been literally, okay, Google, create a note. Like,
yeah. But yeah, it's usually when you're doing something else. Yeah, for me, it was driving, which obviously I'm looking forward to doing again. So
Google was listening to you there.
I've started using Notion more, and that's actually helped. At first I was so overwhelmed by it, but it's actually helped me to just like drop and go, I think.
Yeah, I've got one in Notion as well that but it's a bit more of like a formal ideas dump, because I don't always have it like with me, but so like that's often where I'll take these ideas and like flesh them out. But sometimes if I'm sitting here and it's like, oh, I haven't posted on LinkedIn for 2 days and I don't know what to post about, I might just open my notes app and there might be something in here and I could write about being a generalist versus niching down, or competitive busyness and toxic productivity. Like these are the kind of topics that I like to talk about. So like your topics might be different, but it's just, you know, some ideas that that might get my juices flowing. So by next month, I would, if everyone can think of a way that they're gonna, you don't have to like share what it, like where they are or anything, but if everyone can think of a place to, that they're gonna like, this isn't like content planning, marketing, like this isn't like strict, you know, Trello boards or anything. I just mean like a really organic, like easy place to dump stuff. And then we'll
I think
by next week.
sometimes, I think sometimes as well, for anyone that like struggles writing things down, like voice notes on your phone and like recording yourself talking, it can be handy, because it's dead easy to like just pull that up and like speak some idea. It feels silly when you first do it, but it's a lot easier to just like say like, oh, I should make a post about X, Y, and Z while it's on your mind than it is to type it down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I've got a magnetic note board on the outside the fridge, when the fridge door seems to open regularly at the moment, and when I'm cooking. So I think I've put a marker pen nearby, so I'm now starting to write things on there to remind myself. Because sometimes when you're doing things like cooking and things, when your head's a bit, you know, you kind of think of things, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's place and ideas. Now I've got a couple of slides about with some like slightly different to the usual writing prompts, but what I want to think about is, if you're in a discovery call with a brand new client, what are the questions that they are asking you? So this is going to be a good place to start with regards to like coming up with ideas for content. So imagine you're in a call with a brand new client. There might not even be a client yet. There might just be a lead. What are 3 questions that they're typically asking you about your service or your pricing or whatever? I'll give you, I won't show you mine yet. I'll give you like a couple of minutes to write what yours down. And then the next slide, I'm going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to say about the questions that you're asking your client, but we'll start with the ones that they're asking you. And then I'll share mine, and then we'll talk about how they can kind of inspire maybe a post or 2 or 3 even. Does anybody have their questions? Craig, do you have yours? Do you want to share them while everyone's finishing theirs, or Scott can, whatever, don't mind who.
Craig, you go. I want to get two, pal.
Yeah. So I think often people will ask us, like, like, well, what will it do? Like, what will the work you do for us actually drive? Because content can be misunderstood. So that would frame a lot of posts for me in terms of like the value of content. Again, talking back to data, like rise in SEO visibility, internal links, the value of internal links within a piece. Even things like, like vanity traffic versus valuable traffic, things like that. People often ask about rates. They want to know how much it's going to cost them. So there's always, it's becoming a bit of a stereotype that writers are always whinging about low pay, because it can be seen as a low paid industry, and often people are a bit like, oh, because me and Ellen obviously have a decent day rate, but the value of content is another, like, obviously I just said the value of content for the results, but it ties into the cost as well. So that helps theme a lot of my posts. And also, I think at the moment we often hear a lot of questions around like, when can it be done? Because people are aware that Ellen and I are busy, because we obviously post a lot about our work. So there's always like an expectation of time. So I think it's quite good to talk about like the time things take, and the projects you've currently, like, it's good. It kind of leads into a point where I think it's quite good to post about being busy, because it creates this like, you're in demand and people want to know why. So they want to get, like, they know that you must be good if you're busy.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
Scott, what there? Did you come up with a third? Don't worry if you didn't.
I did, yeah. So I've just downloaded Evernote to keep my notes in for my stuff. So answering clients' questions. So one of the ones I get asked quite a lot is, how long will it take to see results? Which is, how long's a fucking piece of string? Depending on what you're doing. How do we work out the ROI on your particular piece of work? So for my tests on websites, it's quite straightforward, but like for some more technical SEO things, it could be like black magic. Then another one is, I've got 4. What resource do we need in our end to support you? Because we do quite technical work. Clients may need like developers to implement some of the stuff we have. They may need content writers or graphic designers. So something we get asked quite a lot is like, what will I actually need to empower you guys to do the work that you do? And then how much is this going to cost is like another one as well. That probably everyone has, yeah.
Yeah, I had, I just, what sort of help can you give me with my marketing and sales leads? How would the kind of the process, and a bit like what Scott was saying, what is the return on the investment and what resources? They're all actually quite standard. And yet again, how much do you charge, or do you charge by an hourly rate, a half day rate, a retained basis? That sort of thing, really. So similar things.
I can guarantee if they ask you, what's your hourly rate, the next question will be, can you do it quicker?
Yeah.
Or can you do it in fewer hours? Or I'll just have that bit, I'll just pick and choose, and I won't have that bit.
Yeah.
I don't cost in hours anymore.
Yeah,
no.
Learned that lesson.
Yeah, I think we've given that up.
Yeah, I don't take on a project unless it's 5 days. Anything else is like, yeah. Because once they start asking for hours, that they're going to drill down further and say, what tasks are you doing in those hours? I don't know. Can you not do that task? No, it's important. It's like, it's horrible.
Well, I think you realise that they're not the client for you. They're not your client. And that's what you determine, don't you? You think, no, that's not going to work. Because I don't think they're going to value you, actually.
It's like a trust thing, I feel. It's like, if someone's asking me this, they clearly have issues trusting me to begin with.
Yeah.
Can't start stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that a little bit for some clients I might have known for about 2 or 3 years, and they've come back maybe in year 3, and then they're just wanting a few bits of extra help or whatever. But that's a different, because then you've already had, good work from them, and they've been very supportive and helpful to you, and, so that's fine. I don't mind doing that, but not if it's right from day one.
Yeah, the first question is around hours and money, then you know that it's going to be like, that's their focus, isn't it? How much does this cost? If that's the first question, people often say that's a bit of a red flag, before they've even decided if you want to work. You haven't even decided if you want to work with them yet, never mind them asking your price.
I had one the other day where it said, "Oh, so you've got the word consultant in your name. That usually means a lot of money."
I fucking hate that one.
I said, "Oh, this is my day rate." And it said, "I think it's a reasonable day rate for what I do, for when I've spoken to other people." But I think they were, and he said, "Oh, well, we've got a little portal, we can log in and do X, Y, and Z." So I was sort of like, on you go then.
Yeah, I've had people say, "Oh, consultants are expensive." Really?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's that conversation. That's why that sort of pre-work conversation is deciding to, like you say, it's deciding about whether you want to work with them.
Yeah.
Because it's actually got to be a good fit, hasn't it? Really,
This is a company which will obviously remain nameless, but they had been sort of kind of warned with the introduction that they said, mind you, they desperately need you because their governance is awful. Yes, governance and their systems are terrible, and which is fine if they're coming to you and saying help, but they don't realise that they've got a problem. And then what they want you to do is wave a magic wand and say, "Can you fix that without any input from us?" "Yeah, because, I understand how to manufacture widgets, so yeah, that's no problem. I don't need to ask you anything."
Yeah.
Even
this conversation has just inspired. I've just written down there, like a post that I might do later in the week about technical debt in content, because like we're talking about, we work with a couple of dev agencies, and technical debt is like the cost of refactoring code or the cost of working with somebody who was cheaper. And like we often have inherited a few broken websites, or people that have gone for someone that was cheaper, or gone for somebody, especially on the website front. And then actually the technical, like the cost of that is more expensive than if they had just come to us in the first place. So that's like in all of our industries, I think that's something to talk about. But even just this discussion, it just shows how valuable these like kind of discussions are, where we always come up with stuff, and hopefully everyone goes away with more ideas. But I've got like we're cutting down time, so I've got another one after this, so I'm just going to whiz through this. So my questions are similar to Craig's, which was, can you get me on the first page of Google, which is one people ask straight away. How long should a good, and these are random questions, but like, what's the length of a good blog article? Because people say, is it still 500 words? Is it still 800 words? Or Google wants a long form, and like people want to have like a one size fits all answer. In fact, that's probably another good content piece that like you can all fit to your own industry. But just like the whole idea of like one size fits all, and like people want to know the answer of what is a good insert your like discipline here, and actually it's not the same. And then people asking about how often they should update their website design. So those are just 3 questions. And then I think I've written a post. So I just wrote a post to say, and I've seen a few content marketers do similar posts, to be honest, about how content is really important, but like any content writer that tells you, or a content SEO that tells you can get you on the first page of Google with just content is like lying, basically, and saying that there's a lot more involved in that. And these are just some little bits that are involved. But this could be a post that I could paste and put on LinkedIn, like not today because I've already posted, but tomorrow. So that's like how this activity is inspired a post. And the next slide is the other way around. So if you just take a couple of minutes to think about what questions you're asking your clients in those discovery calls. I share mine already. What's your biggest goals? What does success look like to you? And do you work with any other people in marketing or so those are 3 questions that we normally ask in a discovery call. So if you guys take a couple of minutes to think about that, and then we'll have the same kind of chat. Okay. Oh, I was on mute then. I was talking. Classic. Um, Classic behaviour from the Zoom calls that we seem to have every Thursday morning, Kate. Um, okay, does anyone want to share the question? Maybe I can't remember who didn't talk on this one, Lauren and Kate. I think people who didn't talk on the last one maybe want to share the questions that they asked. I know Lauren has like a whole checklist of questions she often asks with new clients.
Yeah, I usually send out a questionnaire before the call now, so that I get to know a little bit about them. I've just done one this morning, so it's like 3 pages long, and it gives me all their details, but also thinking about their branding, but also their business. And then during the call, it's just getting an idea of what they do, but also what stage of their business they're at. So I know if they're a startup compared to somebody who's a bit more established who's going to have a bigger budget. It also, I'll ask them what they want to use their images for, because if they don't really know, it's then giving me an idea of they need more support of that after having their images of where they can use it and get the best value out of their images, and what are their biggest pain points within their business, but particularly within their marketing.
Yeah, all really good questions, I think, and questions that you wouldn't straight away expect a photographer, like a commercial or brand photographer, to ask. Like people think, well, I need headshots because I need headshots, but actually you're asking like questions all around like how the photography will affect the business, and then also I like that you're thinking about afterwards, because often people will get their album of images and be like, okay, so now like what am I doing with them? Who puts them on my website? Like if they don't have a website person, or who, look, I don't have a website, or I've put them on my social media, but like what else do I do? And like you want to make them feel like they're getting, you know, the most out of it and they're using them all the time. And we have mutual clients where you've done the shoots and then we're incorporating their images in their website and their blog articles and stuff. So it's just good to have that network, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's excellent, Lauren. I think that's a really good idea, because I've worked in the past with businesses who've been using photographers, obviously, and I've never seen them go into that sort of depth. And I think that's excellent that you do, and it shows a real interest in the business.
I think seeing just over the past year especially, is so many of my clients will receive the images and they're like, yeah, these are great, they're wonderful, and then they go back to using stock images and it makes me want to pull my eyes out. So I think finding that pain point of it's because they don't actually know what stories to tell with the image, or obviously learning so much from Ellen, it's really helped me to understand the problems that they're facing and how can we use that to then add value to my service.
I bet it feels really good when like you've done a shoot for someone, because I know you do kind of like brand stock photography shoots or something where people can have like a bank of images like you've done for like Rise Elevator, for example. I bet it feels really good when you like see them using those images on social media and you think, oh, I took those images and now they're like 6 months down the line they're still using them, or they're using a variation of them, or you know they're kind of actively dipping into that bank of images, and the investment that they made in those images is like still paying off now, which I think with photography people think it's like a point shoot, get the pictures on the website and that's it, but it's actually not like that.
Yeah, I think it's trying to convince people that it's actually a massive valuable aspect of your business and your marketing, that if you do it in the right way and use the images in the right way, it can make you money because people see you, so they're building the know, like and trust, but they're also taking you to be a professional and look professional, so you'll feel more confident when you're in your business, and whether that's in person or online.
Excellent.
Definitely. Does anyone else want to share the questions that they ask in a discovery call or when they first speak to a new client?
I think it might be helpful if quickly give a tip about like the user persona sort of stuff that I do for clients. So when I talk to a client, I think one of the most important things is like, who do you think your customers are, and how do you think that you meet their needs? Because often like what a client says is different to like what the stats will say, so you can go away and look and see that they're not actually like targeting the right thing, like terms and stuff like that. But you have to first understand who they think their customers are. I think that's quite an important one.
I think that's a really good point, because like the point of these exercises is not just isn't for us to talk about discovery calls, it's to talk about like what we could post about on LinkedIn. So any of us could think about from all of us, because we're all working in a kind of element of marketing or digital technology or whatever in the group. we can all ask a client what their audience is, and then have that understanding of what their perception is. Craig can write about a post about that, and it would be very different to a post that Scott or Kate or whoever would write about that as well. So hopefully, like, these like activities help to like get those ideas, and then sometimes it's an idea that's like a tangent of an idea that ends up being the one that you do on LinkedIn, whatever. So Kate, did you want to share yours before I finish up?
I can do, yeah. Just quickly, in terms of what I want to know from them is things like how many staff, because that gives me an idea of the type of company, the type of work they do, because that's kind of really good to know from the point of view of the privacy side and the data protection side, but also the digital skills side as well. Whether they have a lot of sort of on-site workforce, whether they're just kind of office-based all the time. So yes, and in terms of working with them, I suppose what potential in-house resource have they got? So who have they got within their organisation? Who is the go-to person for digital skills, for example? Then you could do things like say, well, let's focus on the people that have got the skills that want to share the knowledge, and we can focus the resource on them to cascade it out. So things like that, and just sort of what are you looking to achieve? What, when you contacted me, what help did you envisage to make sure I understand what they're actually asking for? Because it might be something completely different.
Yeah, I think that's like a post that you could definitely do around like when you first speak to a client, or what they think they want isn't necessarily what they actually need. So they might come to you for digital skills and say, oh, well, we need Excel training. And then by the time you start talking to them, you find out that it's actually their data governance that's a mess, and that, that's something that they need to prioritize before they start looking at the digital skills element or whatever. So that's like a good thing that you could write a post about.
They're usually massively linked, because the biggest data protection risk is the people. And the biggest risk is the people not being able to kind of understand what the risk is with data, clicking on links, or that everybody's not as nice as they appear.
And I think it's all about managing clients' expectations, because that's where usually it all breaks down, because it's what they're thinking they want and what you're thinking they're giving them. It could be two different things. That's what I found anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote a post based on this activity, I think. So I think it was the third point that I was talking about, which was like, I like to know who else that business is working with, if they've got any outsourced marketing people, if they've got a photographer or videographer, because they might think it's a weird question, but actually I think best work comes from collaboration. And if I find out that a client has got a videographer out in the field, I would like to speak to them so that I can just understand how we could maybe write some blog content that works with the content that the videographer's working with. And that idea that lots of businesses nowadays are working with freelancers and contractors rather than having in-house people, because it's more cost effective in turbulent times. I like to know who those people are, and if they say, oh, well, I've got a PPC person, but like you don't need to speak to them, it's fine. I'm like, well, actually, it might be good to just get an introduction, because they might decide that they need help writing Facebook ads, and we can help with that. Or the consistent brand voice that I'm using on the blog articles might not be the same as the Google ads or the Facebook ads or the emails. And Craig's got a client that he works with, and he regularly he proofreads the email marketing. So they do email marketing and funnels and stuff. It's e-commerce, and we don't technically provide that service to them. But part of our retainer is that Craig just runs his eye over it, because he writes the blog content and the website content. So it's important that it's all consistent. So that could be a good post that I could write about. And hopefully, I think that might be. Oh, well, now I've just duplicated the slide. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't know if anyone's got any questions this month or anything like that, but I think hopefully you have got at least one, I would say probably more than one, potential LinkedIn post to go away with and write over the next couple of weeks, so that when I come to do my slides last minute, like I always do, the last Thursday in the next month, I will get some good screenshots of some good posts that you have all done based on the chat. So, I mean, you don't have to use these ideas. Obviously, that's just like food for thought. But when Scott was saying about creativity and ideas, that's basically what these sessions are about, just chatting to each other. And Craig chipping in and saying, oh, I've got an idea for you, reader, or one of us saying, oh, actually, you could write about that. And hopefully that helps to be able to create a bank of potential posts, so you can start to post that 2 to 5 times a week, which is what we need to be doing to start to see results where people reach out to us and generate those leads.
Really, really useful. Thanks.
Yeah, that's inspired me, Ellen. Thanks.
All that stuff. Lou's got a big thumbs up.
Hopefully no one feels intimidated. Like, that's obviously, like, I don't want anyone to go away thinking, like, this is just too much and I can't think of what to post. Just, like, say read every first set post could just be a couple of sentences.
I think I'm just going to do that because I think I am overthinking it too much, and I'm just, I just don't think, and I'm thinking, oh, should I use that photo, and should I talk about that, or maybe no, they won't be interested in that. I just need to literally just write it down. Maybe Scott's thinking the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to fuck it and just.
Maybe I should just say that.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. You never know what the post is going to be. That's going to be the one that your potential customer sees. Like, you just never know.
Yeah. I'm writing a newsletter at the minute, our very first newsletter, which is like a very personal account of the company getting started up, and there's a lot of effing and jeffing in there. So I'm going to put an excerpt on LinkedIn and see how that works out.
Yeah, you have to share the subscribe link. We'll have a good newsletter.
Yeah. I hope it is a good newsletter. We'll see. I'm not a writer, so.
You find your tribe. If it's who you are, so people, because I've had an unsubscribe about a week and a half ago, I think, so I remember the one, and it's try not to take it personally.
Yeah.
I
know you're saying that, but when people are getting the odd unsubscribe, and it's so like, it's so devastating.
Is it like somebody walking up to and saying, I don't want to be your friend anymore?
Yeah, it's like you subscribe to this, and then now you've unsubscribed. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's not like you sent it to them.
It's that. Well, that's it. It's not like, I don't like X, Y, and Z, because you can't have that dialogue with people once they unsubscribe. And also, it would be a bit creepy if you started falling around going, why don't you like me? It's the way you are as a person, because I think that's the thing. For me, I have to kind of be, I don't want to use the kind of buzzword authentic, but I have to be that person, because otherwise, if I'm not, I've got to keep that active all the time. Mm-hmm. And then if I meet someone in person, they go, well, you're different to what I expected. Mm-hmm. So that things like, like effing and jeffing and stuff like that, if that's part of if that's who you are, then,
it's very, very on brand for me, yes.
Yeah.
As an Irishman, yeah.
Well, that shows that you're authentic, Scott. This is what Ellen's on about, isn't it? Authenticity. So I think, we need to stick with that, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good note to end on, I think.
Yeah. Do anything else, isn't it, other than just be who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How pure.
Okay.
Well, everyone, I'll send this round. Hopefully it's worked. If it hasn't worked, then I'll have to record it again. It'll just be me and it won't be as fun. But hopefully it's worked okay. And what else was I going to say? Obviously, you can always just post in the group and stuff if you ever have any questions, or contact me. But it's better probably post in the group, because sometimes other people have got answers to the questions that haven't got. Or, if you want to ask about what the best types of images, like Lauren's in the group and she can probably advise, and likewise with regards to data, and just use the group for whatever you want within reason.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Ellen.
Yeah. Thanks,
thank you.
guys. I'll see you next month.
Yeah, lovely to meet you all, and see you soon.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.